this election in Georgia is something that's been very important to you, something you've been very vocal about. Tell us about some of your endeavors.
Yeah, so 2020 was it was a crazy year for most. I was blessed enough to have an insane show come out this year, and with that came an insane platform. And I'd always stayed pretty up to date on politics just due to my aunt. She was a judge, a precinct judge back in Texas, and so I'd already kind of know how politics, and especially politics in the South, work. And what it takes to really get people to vote, and and how much influence can affect that. And I just thought it was once Black Lives Matter happened, George Floyd, the Black Lives Matter had been happening, but it's been put on a different spotlight this year, and due to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery. And I just thought, more than protesting, more than going out to because I was out there protesting in LA. More than that, I can illustrate with my face and my platform and my knowledge and what I've learned and share my experiences as a young Black man growing up in the South. A little bit about what it's like growing up and how it affects me personally, and how moving forward in these Senate runoffs can truly affect real change if we hold people accountable. And that's just kind of what I'm.
No, absolutely. We just want everybody to know that, and we're so proud of everybody who went to the polls this past November, but it's still more work to be done. This is something that's ongoing. And as we've been telling people here on the walkthrough this political season, is that yes, the national election for the president of the United States is crucial. It's important. This is probably this was definitely one of the most important elections that we had, including when we were all smart enough to vote Barack Obama into office twice. Mm-hmm. Those are crucial elections too. But it's more than that. It's more than just the president. It's these judges.
I think they don't educate a lot of us, especially in inner city schools and in some low income schools, which I kind of came up in sometimes. Is they don't educate you on exactly how you can affect your own change. They just tell you kind of what the branches of government are and kind of what they do. So you're led to believe the executive branch has more power than it does, and I think that can get you close to fascism. And if you let one branch of government believe it has more power than the other, you start making different elections more important than other elections. Then you start thinking one man can think he has the power. Whereas if you make these like Senate runoffs and these congressional elections more important to the basic voter, if they start to realize like, hey, this is important. We know it sucks to try to come and vote and disagree every year, but this is what's important. It's more important than the presidential election, which just is one branch of government. Then I think you start inciting real change in young people, and you start educating them on actually what their vote means. Education is the enemy of control. If I were to say that.
Absolutely. I mean, we seeing it in real time with these stimulus checks, voting. How they're fighting right now. Do we get $600? Do we get $2,000? I didn't even get no money from the first stimulus check personally.
Right.
Not to be giving out all of the information, but I didn't even get it. But I do want, even if I can't get something, my family got some stuff, my friends got some stuff, my neighbors, people need it. This is dire circumstances. This pandemic.
It's important to people, that people have what they need. It's like we can't be so selfish as to live on our own needs and forget the needs of others. And some people might be able to make it through another stimulus check. That $2,000, they need that $2,000 to eat. They need it to be $2,000. So it's like you got to make sure that we're looking out for the interest of the whole.
No, 1,000,000%, man. You have a series. It's called The Talk, and I was watching some clips, man. And when I tell you guys, this is like one of the most honest pieces of content that you're gonna see. Now there was one clip. Was that your parents when you was talking? Those were your parents. There's this clip, man, and you're gonna have to tell everybody where they could see it. But there's this clip where you're talking to your parents and you're telling how one of the teachers in school, they said they had a nickname for you. It was Buckwheat, and which is infuriating. Like your mom, she was ready to get busy.
Yeah,
You don't mess with a black mom's kid. Don't mess with nobody kid. Period. But I have a black mother, and they ready to go to war.
Yeah.
About their kids, and then your pops, man. It was a very, very emotional clip where you told him that you wanted to go out to the protests. It was important, and he's been a part of protests, and he's been felt the wrath of police brutality, and that's something that he wants to shield you from and wanted to shield you from. And it was such an emotional moment because you could tell that he was reliving the strife that he had. And as black men, this is something that we don't want our kids, our nephews, our little brothers to go through because we've been through it. So, man.
I mean, it's just, I remember talking to him after I came back, and I was like, it seems like, once every generation, our people have to go through this. It's like, and each time it gets something small changes. Each time you get small changes, and it kind of reflected my journey and his journey, and like my journey to even get to where I'm at right now in acting. It's like nothing was allowed to be easy.
Right.
Every like little step I took, every like ground I made up, I've had to give up 10-fold, 1,000-fold to gain it. And so he'd always taught me, like, there is no reward without risk, and you have to risk something to get a reward, to get your goal. Something has to be, given up in order for you to gain. That's just the nature of equivalent exchange. So, when he was like, when he didn't want me to go, he was like, I was being selfish. He was like, I was putting my need to have you around to make sure you were, to see you not have to go through that over the needs of our people, and it's like, and it's tough for every parent to put yourself out. Heck, it's tough for me right now. I've been told, I talk about politics too much. I post politics too much on my page, on my Instagram. It's going to make my followers go down. And I was like, and there are points where I'm like, maybe that's right, and it's like, until change happens, until who knows who I'm affecting right now, until something happens, like I'm here for a reason to do this, until it's over, I feel like we've completed that goal. And so
you gotta be you, man. You gotta be you. Success doing these movies and doing these TV series is a beautiful thing, especially for a young black brother such as yourself. We're still fighting to get more of us into that realm. But when you get into it and success, it's a beautiful thing. But sometimes you got to say at what cost, like if I can't be myself, if I can't speak up for my people, if I can't speak up for my family, then what's the sense of having this success? What's the sense of having this platform? And what you're doing is akin to what we saw athletes, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown. We're seeing it today. LeBron James and all of the NBA and all of these other great athletes that's been stepping up. We have so many questions for Twitch. I know that you're in the middle of production and you stopped by to talk about this, but we have a couple of questions from Twitch. We're live right now. Thank you for everybody. We have Sir Boog 313-313. He says, from your perspective, how can we use technology to even the odds. Now that it's our turn.
Yeah, I mean, information controls, and it's we're in an age where everything's moving so fast, and it's like you have to be on top, and you have to know exactly what your message is. You have to know what you're about to say before you say it. You have to be able to connect community, and that's the most important thing. Is how can you connect your message to the people that you need to connect it to, and how can those people connect with each other? You know, we need to believe that there's more of us. We need to believe that there's a bunch of us out here willing to make a change. And I think it's important that we make sure those groups connect and bring each other up and help each other out. You know, we have NBA players in these positions right now who have the ability, you know, to connect these groups, you know, and it's like, it's not everybody's job to do it, but you know, it's like, as long as we can start keeping ourselves connected in each other, and we don't, how do I say, we don't use technology as a way to hurt and for pure entertainment. You know, it's like, we have to make sure we stay together as a people, and that we can use our technology, we can use our platforms, like I'm using mine, to push, you know, social things that are happening. You know, it's like every time you see something, you sharing it is enough. You know, you never know who's watching it or who will take it from you and move it to someone else.
Actions remain the same, whether you know why you're getting pulled over or not. One thing I was always taught by my father would always keep his hands visible. I try to have my credentials already accessible, so I don't have to reach for anything. Once the police come to my car, have no movements or anything like that, address them by their title. Yes, officer, no, officer. In some cases where you're not in the wrong, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you have to be taken out the car or detained or anything like that. So you can handle those situations in court. You don't ever want to get belligerent with them. You don't ever want to be disrespectful to them. Talk to them with the same respect, pretty much. And it's sad that you have to do that, the same respect that you would have to talk to a judge.
We have to stop reacting, and we have to become aggressive. Our war is going to be waged, and when we win the victory, remember, to the victor belongs the spoil, and we're going to take it all.
It's just real sad that in 2020 that we still have to have these conversations, civil rights or Jim Crow type of conversation, but it's a necessity because I do want my son to be prepared when he's, not if, but when he's presented with those situations.
Our streets! Our streets! Our streets!
We continue to see the cry out for the inequities that exist for Black men in our community. The impact is deadly.
I remember when Philando Castile, they announced what had happened to him. And I just remember sitting there crying because I thought about my brother. I thought about my nephew. And I thought about my Black men friends who are all good people who could have just been in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I was so scared and sad and felt like I couldn't do anything. And I was angry because I knew that white men, white boys, white families were not going through this.
I am a good kid, but like just growing up in America, Black kid, we have targets on our back. And I'm actually scared because anything can happen. That can happen to me or any of my peers. Just thinking about it just makes me scared for my life. Just thinking about it.
I cry for my son. I cry for my grandsons, my great grandsons, Black men all across this country. This is a daily conversation. This is a fear for our Black men. And we have seen it. Again, the videos continue to play. And the question is continued asked, what can we do?
You know, getting out there and voting and trying to achieve some type of change is extremely important because this is our future. This is our future. My son, my students, that's our future. And there's nothing wrong with change. Change is something that's needed. This is a plea for help. You know, looking forward to a different 2021.